The 3080 Ti has already been spotted before its official announcement. It has been seen at a local retailer in Abu Dhabi, listed for about $3,500 USD. Is one of the topics we're going to be talking about here on Off and On Again, the podcast where we talk about the latest in PC gaming and more. My name is Nick Laporte, and I'm joined, as always, by my AI co-host, MATT, a.k.a. Matt.
Beep boop.
Woo! Okay, so today is Sunday. Is it the 5th? No, it's the 9th. The 9th of May. And you know, I can't believe I actually did that. That was the second try, but I stared at the camera and I read that whole intro and it went okay. Because usually I read it and it's just a mess. But we did it. Okay. Anyways, how's it going, Matt?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day. I sent my mom
That means you need to get this out today.
Ugh. Well, it will be out. By the way, this will be out today, Sunday, technically, at least PST, on Patreon. So if you're a patron, you can get it the day it's recorded every Sunday, or not every Sunday. We take breaks from time to time, but on the day we record it, it's up there. I get it up probably an hour, maybe 2 hours after we actually finish recording. So if you want it as fast as possible, you can join us over there on Patreon. The Tech Illiterate Patreon, just search Tech Illiterate and Patreon. I always want to say patron when I talk about it, but we know that's an issue.
I thought the issue was the other way. You were talking to your patrons, but you kept on calling them Patreons.
I call our patrons Patreons. Either way, whatever. I messed it up. So like I said, we're going to be talking about the 3080 Ti. We're also going to be talking about AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution, something that people have been waiting for on the AMD side for a little while, and also Epic having spent over $1 billion on exclusives, which is a lot of money. But before we get to the main news, Matt, do you watch SNL?
I typically watch it after the fact. Not always, though. I've probably watched... I used to watch it back in the day when it was like Mike Myers and Phil Hartman and all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
RIP. But, yeah, not for many years. I think I watched the Dave Chappelle one not too long ago. But no, I'd say no, I guess not really much.
Well, I don't watch it either, but I did hear that Elon Musk was going to be on, so I went to check it out. And obviously, when I went to try to watch it on whatever websites, NBC or whoever hosts it, it's like it's not available in your region.
Yeah.
Shameless plug here. Use my VPN, switch my place to Seattle, and boom, I could watch it right away. So if you want to do that, go ahead and check out PIA in the link below. You can get the latest deals at private internet access. But anyways, it was really awkward.
It is pretty handy.
It is really
just to add in.
Super easy.
For some reason, like CBS Star Trek stuff, the trailers for the shows, which, are like legally run in Canada, I pay a service to pretty much just to watch Star Trek shows, even though I'm not really a fan of them anymore. I'm a historical Star Trek fan. But yeah, they, for whatever reason, the trailers for their shows are always region locked. So yeah, use private internet access, just flip over to the States and I can watch the advertisements for their shows. Yeah,
so I think by those statements there, we don't even have to put any more ads in the show. There's your ad. But anyways, so yeah, Elon Musk was on the show, and this is amazing that Dogecoin obviously spiked up when I think Elon Musk tweeted about it or whatever. And then it's just been on a meteoric rise. It was at like 0.00 something cents, and now it was at like 60 or 70 cents USD. But it dropped by a third after he mentioned that it was like a farce. I don't remember the actual quote, but he basically said like it's a Ponzi scheme or something like that. So it dropped by a third.
He did say, yeah, I don't know if it's the exact quote, but he did say something about, he didn't talk about Doge, but I think he just said crypto is very interesting, but you should invest with caution or something like that.
He said that on SNL?
No, he said that on Twitter.
Okay. Yeah.
I did watch his monologue on SNL.
Yeah.
And
how awkward was that when his mom came in?
Right. Yeah, so that's where the Dogecoin joke was. He said he was going to. His mom said like, "Oh, I can't wait for my Mother's Day gift. I hope it's not Dogecoin, is it?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's Dogecoin."
Yeah. It's worth checking out at least. I think I didn't watch the rest of the show because the ads were insane. Unskippable ads that run like 2 minutes long, and they're spaced out through the entire show. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. It's too long.
Oh, where were you watching it?
Well, on the NBC website or whatever. Is it CBC or not CBC?
NBC.
CBC.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize they had it for just watch the whole thing up there.
Yeah, it's on their website, but yeah, you have to watch.
Yeah,
the
Dogecoin. I mean, look at the name. It's a meme coin. The thing with Dogecoin, I'm not an expert. I've just heard this. The problem with it and why it's not a good investment is because there's no limit to it. I think with Bitcoin, Ethereum, other ones, there is actually a limit to how much can be mined or produced or whatever. So just like with, just like with real money, there has to be a limit to it. Otherwise it would have no value. So like every minute people are mining like, I don't know, a large number of Dogecoin. So whatever Dogecoin you're holding on to, its value just will dip. So there's not really, it's definitely not a long-term bet for sure.
No.
It might be, there might be some kind of short-term, like people have probably made money from the spike if they got rid of it.
Yeah. Like I don't know exactly how that works because like that's what I've heard. That's what I know about it. Like you said, Bitcoin is finite and Dogecoin can expand, but I don't know the premise on how it expands and who decides. Is it just it's created and it expands? Is if there's more of it, does it make it more difficult to mine it? Like I'm not sure about that, but I just think that's it's kind of comparable to our fiat currencies right now. Like when you talk about the US dollar, right? They can just dump money or print money. Like I think it was like in the past 3 years or something, they printed like 40% or something, a huge amount of the money they've printed in the past few years, which is insane. So you can see the deflation of the currency, or sorry, inflation and the devaluing of the currency.
Right.
I'm not sure how that works though. Who decides when it goes up? Is it just mining and then there's more Dogecoin?
No, I mean, people can continuously mine it.
Okay.
So that if you, let's just, to make things simple, let's just say you have one Dogecoin and there are 99 other Dogecoins out there. That has a certain value until somebody mines another 100 or another 100, another 100. It becomes, it's exactly inflation, I think. Like the amount that you hold becomes less valuable because there's so much more of it.
Yeah.
Like this happens in other countries or whatever, where, they just make more money or whatever, but on, to their like external trading partners, it has less value because they've just made more of it.
Right.
I don't know actually don't know if I'm correct at all. I never took macroeconomics. I only took microeconomics, and I don't even remember that because I was in school so long ago. But anyway, That's just what I've read about Dogecoin. It's not a good thing to get into just because they can keep making more of it.
But
whereas like Bitcoin or something, there's a finite amount. So, you've seen its rise over time. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's insane how much some of these are worth right now. But also, what I was going to mention is how if you had bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin on January 1st this year, you now could have not cashed out whatever last week for like over $100,000. To think that's amazing. It's crazy. And even before that, if you bought it before, it was even more. But what's Bitcoin at? It's got like thousands, many thousands.
I thought my friend sent me
60?
A screenshot the other day. It said it was 70,000. I don't know if that was. Let me see if I can find that.
70,000 Canadian.
70,000 Canadian. Yeah.
What USD? 58. So its high point is probably 60s, 63 maybe. 63, I think, was the high point. That's crazy. It's insane. Like it's unbelievable. And I wish I had gotten into it earlier because of how much easier it's gotten to transfer. Like I remember back in the early days, my older brother was really into it. He had mining rigs in his basement making Bitcoins, and he literally had like a dozen Bitcoins or whatever, sold them for $10 a piece. There's a million stories like that. And it just seemed kind of shady at how you would have to transfer the money to get the money for the Bitcoin and actually have it in your bank account. But it seems like it's getting easier and easier to do that. And I went on the website Coinbase just this past week to try to just buy some coins or something. Just buy whatever, $50. I'll put $50 in Ethereum or something, just to see what happens. But it kept declining my credit card for some reason, so didn't actually buy it. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I can. Well, I mean, you can talk to your brother about what he's used, but I made $100 today off of Ethereum jumping.
Oh, really?
Which is kind of nuts.
You
yeah,
sold
there's
it?
been. No, I'm not selling it because of the stories we're hearing about people like, oh, I spent like 10 Bitcoins on a cup of coffee 10 years ago, and now I'm really regretting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. I'm just gonna sit on it. If it disappears, no big deal.
Diamond hands.
No, I'm not about that. I'm not about that.
But isn't the definition of diamond hands just holding on to a financial position that's risky?
It's not really that risky. I guess it is kind of risky, but that was like, I mean, that whole thing was just nuts. And that was like a
Game stonk?
almost game stonk. Yeah, I don't really want to get into that. It's just, I've made a small investment in something, and we'll see how it goes. I have more in Tesla and Apple stock than I do Ethereum.
It's probably a good choice.
Yeah, they're the only ones performing for me because others are not.
Yeah, there's certain ones that you just, I guess before this pandemic, or actually when the pandemic started, would have been a good time to buy because the market just took a good plunge.
Yeah, well, for a brief moment there, I made quite a bit off of Tesla, but it's sort of gone down and leveled out a bit compared to where it was like at the beginning of this year. But it still made me a little bit. But I'm not like I don't have a ton of money in it, and it's just kind of a fun thing to do. You can also, you get to like vote on stuff or whatever. I voted to keep Al Gore on the Apple board of directors, for example.
The
I didn't
Apple
really have
board of directors?
Yeah.
Wow. That's fancy.
Yeah, all stockholders get like a voting rights, usually, I guess if they're a common stock or whatever.
So what percentage do you think you got there? Like
not I don't even know how many stocks exist, but I definitely don't have that many. I have like
round
20
it up to zero.
20 stocks or something. I don't know.
It's pretty cool though. I'll probably ask you later about this stuff because maybe we should talk about the actual news that we have at hand because I am curious about it. We could probably talk about this for an hour.
Yeah, we should get off this.
I will ask you about it later, that's for sure. Maybe in the after show we can talk a little bit more about stocks. If you want to join us over there, head to Patreon and you can join us for the after show.
Yeah,
anyway,
but now let's talk about some stock of some video cards that were spotted on some shelves recently that weren't supposed to be there.
Yes, exactly.
How's that?
That was good. I like that. That was a great segue. And speaking about things that aren't related to tech, the pre-show, all there for you too, if you don't want to, wanted to hear about that stuff. But yes, thank you, Matt, for that segue. The 3080 Ti has been spotted on shelves in United Arab Emirates, specifically in Abu Dhabi for $3,500, which is a lot of money. But that's what you'd actually expect if it were sold here right now, today.
Really?
So I think so. Not MSRP, but that's definitely what you probably would be able to buy it for if you could find one.
What is the 3080 going for these days?
A lot.
Okay, yeah, I know that. Thank you. Thank you.
So this is the 12 gigabyte 3080 Ti. The 10 gigabyte was the original version of the 3080, extra 2 gigabytes GDDR6X. So it has less memory than the 3090 half, in fact. But we've been hearing rumors about this for ages. But to finally see it technically for sale, even though it hasn't been officially announced yet by NVIDIA, is pretty funny. So the one that they actually saw was the Supreme, not Supreme, Supreme X from MSI. And yeah, I'm not surprised at the cost.
But what does a 3090 go for? Like, is that better? A 3090?
No, it's not better. Well, considering the fact we've seen plenty of benchmarks compared to the 3080 to the 3090, and it's within like 5 to 12% or something like that. Just going off the top of my head, but something around there. And I think this is going to be probably pretty close to that. It'll just be like on the upper ends of that. But I think it'll have a little bit more leeway when it comes to more productivity tasks. But other than that, honestly, I don't think it's going to be much more powerful than the 3080. It's basically a 3090 with a bit less or less.
So you're
RAM.
expected to just pay 3-4 times the price of a 3080 for this thing?
No, I'm just kidding. It's not actually going to be that, but I think this is going to be harder to get than what the current 3080s are already going for. So that's just what my speculation. It's not going to be $3,500, obviously, but I can expect the retail price to be I'd say $1,200 maybe, $1,200 MSRP, something like USD, $1,200 to $1,300. But I'm talking about the Founders Edition card. Founders Edition card with big asterisks there, right? Because they hardly exist to begin with in the first place.
Yeah, well, at least in this country, I don't think you can buy them anywhere other than eBay. Yeah.
They were available at the very beginning, and there were apparently some that were bought here in Canada. And you know what? I'm regretting now not buying it. There was somebody local to me near Vancouver that had one and was for sale on Craigslist for $1,400 Canadian, and I should have bought it. Because it was like
a 3080?
A 3080 Founders. And because they went for like $920, I think, Canadian to start. So you're like, oh, $500. But now it's like, that's a great deal now. It's like a normal price.
Yeah, it is. I'm just checking the store where I bought mine, where your brother bought his. It looks like, well, I mean, they don't have the Founders ones. They have the other ones. But yeah, in Canadian, they seem to be around $1,200 to $1,400. So they haven't moved all that much in the past few months. Looks like...
Not that I've heard. In fact, when you go to Newegg and you type in RTX 3090, this is at least on the Canadian website, it's just all pre-builds and bundles that come up first for like a whole huge page until you finally actually see original cards, just cards. So Canadian, the 3090 is going for, this is probably the most expensive one. The Asus ROG Strix is $3,900 Canadian. All of them out of stock. Yeah.
Sorry, what? Is that a full gaming PC?
No. I don't know if I misspoke, but $2,900 for an Asus ROG Strix 3090.
Okay. Yeah, so I think you said 3,900. Maybe you got 3090.
That's what I said. I think I might have said 3,900. Sorry, but $2,900 for a 3090, and that's going to be one of the most expensive. Whoa, what is this? What? Oh my God. Zotac Gaming.
I see.
Why would you buy this one? $4,000. Oh my God.
Yeah. Plus $29.95 shipping.
They can't even give you free shipping.
I don't know who Zotac thinks they are.
Oh my God. A Zotac. You just don't buy that. What are you doing?
The thing is, like, you know what? I think this is an issue with Newegg, and even Walmart and Best Buy are doing it too, is that they not only do they don't just sell their own stuff anymore. They also have people who sell stuff through them. Amazon does this as well with their marketplace.
Yeah.
So the prices go crazy. Because you're not, when I buy stuff from Newegg, I try my best to just buy it from Newegg because I know it's going to get here quickly. The prices are going to be reasonable and like in line with MSRP. But there's so much stuff on Newegg that's shipping from, little stores or weird warehouses or direct from China or whatever. And those are the guys who are, demanding $4,000 for a graphics card. This one is sold and shipped by ANXT, whatever that is.
ANXT. Who knows? That is crazy.
Yeah. I try to stick to like local stores if possible. Because they also fulfill very quickly. Newegg, I get stuff like in less than 24 hours. It's crazy.
From Newegg?
Yeah. If it's like sold and shipped by Newegg or whatever.
Right. I haven't bought anything from them in ages.
They have their warehouse is like literally in town, and I don't know how they get it here so fast, but they got
to compete with Amazon.
Well, they've done a pretty good job in some regards.
I believe that. I do.
Yeah.
But back to the 3080 Ti topic at hand. In this article, again, this is from techradar.com. And the title was NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 Ti spotted on shelves. It originally was popped up because of a tweet, and there were some tweets from videocards.com specifically about a picture that was originally the Supreme X from MSI, but also Tom from Moore's Law is Dead on the Twitter posted about...
He's dead? Sorry.
Moore's Law is dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their Twitter, they posted about a Gigabyte RTX 3080 Ti also. And they blacked out the back to protect people. And this, I think, the thing that just seems weird to me is that NVIDIA seems to usually have these things under wraps, and to have actual products in the hands of people leaking it, like the boxes themselves, just seems a little odd. Like, I feel like that doesn't really happen that often. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't remember this happening, especially not with the 3080, but even the 20 series or the 10 series. I don't remember this happening where retail boxes were being shown well before there was even an announcement of the product.
Yeah. Didn't we see it with the 3060 or 3060 Ti or something?
There was product. Like I remember seeing like lots of pictures of actual products, like the actual GPUs, but boxes?
Yeah, I thought I don't know. It's all the same.
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
I thought there was together. All those 3060 news stories we did. I kind of feel like one of them was, a 3060 box was spotted and it said it was 12 gigabytes or something like that. I could be wrong.
You're probably right. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was like one of those shipping boxes. I don't remember. There's too much of this stuff. It just keeps coming. Anyways.
Just stop. Stop.
Stop it. We're done. We're going to be like the Amish for PC gaming. No more development. We're stopping here. This is all we get.
Or like Nintendo. It's like we don't need better hardware. We can just tell stories and create great games on the same old hardware.
I mean, they do a good job of it.
Yeah.
I think it's still some of the most popular games out there. Like Animal Crossing was just hot. It was everywhere on Reddit for like a solid month and a half, I swear.
Yeah, it was a good game. Although, I mean, to really get far in that, you need to be a certain kind of person. My island is just like a garbage dump, basically, because I don't want to have to deal with like placing everything nicely and making nice paths and everything. And I haven't been able to progress in the game because my island isn't nice enough. Like, there's actually literally like I can't remember what they're called. There's some organization within the game that judges how your house looks and gives you like a letter grade. And like I don't do very well, so I'm not willing to go back to it.
It's got to be something like Stardew Valley, right? I don't think I've ever played Animal Crossings.
Crossings.
Anyways, Crossings.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that. I mean, Stardew Valley? Yeah, Stardew Valley. It's a little bit like that, but there's more like stuff collecting and building your house and visiting other people's islands or houses or whatever. There's like there's a stock market as well in it, but it's spelled STALK, as in turnip stock. So
I like it.
Yeah, and I actually one of the reasons I kind of stopped playing the game is because I really lost big on the stock market in game. So basically,
Hopefully it doesn't repeat itself.
Yeah, this person sells turnips. Like they show up like one day a week and sells turnips at a certain value.
Right.
And so you know, if it's a good value or whatever, you buy a ton of them, and you know, there's all these like space limitations in the game and stuff. So like a lot of people just fill a room up with like piles and piles of the turnips. And basically you're supposed to like come back to the game and like every day go to this shop and see how much they're buying turnips for. And, you know, obviously if they're buying them for more, then you can sell them all and make a quick buck. The problem is after about a week, the turnips go bad, and I didn't play the game for a week. And it basically, I had put all my money into this and it all went rotten. So I was just like, oh, this really sucks.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
So, sorry. I'm just imagining all this. I'm just putting myself in this beautiful world. And then the sad story about the turnips, but we got to get back to the 3080 Ti here, just so we can round off the story and actually move on to something else instead of keep cutting through our stories here. So we're expecting to see an actual announcement by the end of the month, the end of May, and it'll probably be announced to be released at the beginning of June. And also what's expected to be seen is the 3070 Ti as well in that announcement. And again, another release date probably shortly after the 3080 Ti. For pricing, they have mentioned around maybe $1,000 USD. Like I said, I think it could be more than that, at least for the Founders Edition. Like I said, if they do make that, but I would expect to see this thing go for about $1,200 US, depending on where you are. But in the States, probably around there for the third-party cards, the board partners. Anyways, I'm interested to see that they still have the Founders Edition for sale at bestbuy.com for $699.99. Again, I don't know how often they drop it, though.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Is that the only place you can buy it? Is Best Buy in the States?
I think so. Like it was for at
like
least for a while.
NVIDIA gave up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they were selling it from their website. They just gave up on that, which, you know, I guess it stinks for us. Certainly, you know, AMD is selling them at their cards at MSRP on their site, and people are actually able to get them. You know, it's still obviously difficult, but they're dropping them every so often, week or 2 weeks or something like that. So, I mean, that's a pretty good move when every other retailer is like just screwing everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. How do you feel about the 3080, 3090, 3070, just like the Founders Edition coolers now? Like it's simmered a bit. I remember when they first got announced and shown and released, I think most people were drooling over them at least. I still think they look pretty good. What do you think?
You know, I always thought, hey, it looks pretty interesting. The two things I like about it are the fact that on the end of it, which would be the end, the opposite side of the plate, let's say, there's the pass-through fan, like the fins have a like pass-through cooling or whatever, so it blows through the card. That was really cool. And it also has, I believe it has vents on the plate end that shoots some stuff out, like out the PCI slot, basically, or the whatever. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then like everybody else did pretty much the same thing. So my card, my AMD 6800 XT also has the pass through fan things or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the cutout in the end of the card so it blows up through and, you know, supposedly cools your RAM or whatever else. So yeah, I mean that I don't know who did it first, but it's a good idea. I do like that. But you know, I don't know. I haven't heard one of the Founders Edition NVIDIA cards. So that's like the bigger thing to me. It's like, you know, it's great if it cools well, but how loud is it?
I haven't heard anything about that. Like I remember when it was first released and people were tinkering with it. There was a lot of videos about it on YouTube, and a lot of them, none of them really mentioned the sound, and the ones that did said it wasn't really that loud. But the thing that they found out later when a lot of the partner cards came out is that the partner cards cooled much better than this one, and I think that it really has to do with the fin stack. You know, they had this really, it's revolutionary in a way. It's something that really hasn't been done that much in the past at all, and just the problem with it, I think, is that the fins are really thick in comparison to what you would see typically on another type of GPU cooler. So they could have fit more fins in there that were a lot thinner, but instead went for these thicker ones that honestly, they look better, but they just don't cool quite as well. So it lends to them not being able to perform as well at the really high end, especially when you want to do overclocking and stuff like that. Either way, like for me, it wouldn't matter that much. I don't do overclocking at all, really. So it wouldn't matter to me, but I still think it's a damn sexy card.
Yeah. How about that 12-pin connector, though?
Ugh. Why is it on the side? Good call.
Yeah. That's like one. I mean, one day when, you know, all our power supplies are like NVIDIA approved or whatever and come with the proper connectors, that would be great. But I think currently I don't know if there are too many. I thought I heard that they're recommending people use the adapter.
Right.
Which means you've got like a chunky adapter, and I don't know. It just seems so inelegant.
Yeah, I agree there for sure. Yeah, I guess the only thing they might have been able to do is make like an extension from the board that went out the end of the card like you normally would have it. But maybe it's just the fact that we're so used to the way that our PCs are now with the GPUs, with having the power connectors at the end of the card, that having it in the middle of the card just seems so weird. Because if you really look at it, you know, kind of objectively, even though it's a subjective thing, is that it is kind of weird to even have it where it is right now. Like it makes sense if you could put it at the end of the card so that it was closer to where the motherboard is or the actual case so that you could hide that cable more easily.
Yeah, well, I mean, one day in the future with PCIe 5, we might be able to get all the power directly through the board.
Yeah,
you might not need these cables.
Yeah.
But I do recall a video, I think it was Gamers Nexus, who mentioned the reason for the position of the power connector on the 3080 and that series was literally so they could get the power as close to the stuff as possible, because it was such a high powered card.
Yeah,
so
certainly
literally
is.
just delivering the power directly to the chip and all the other stuff. I guess it was more efficient or whatever to have it as close as possible rather than, you know, further down the card.
Mm-hmm. Well, I look forward to seeing what they come up with next in the next generation, and I hope to see more innovations like that with GPUs from either AMD or NVIDIA or even Intel when we get into that. If they start to really up their game in the discrete GPU market. We did have a story here. We might talk about it in the after show about discrete GPUs making their way into laptops that are made by Intel, but it remains to be seen because they're XC or Z or whatever they're called, graphics cards, aren't really in the high end. They're barely scratching the surface of the low end when it comes to discrete GPUs right now. So anyways, Matt, I think it's time to move on to the next subject here. What do you think?
No, let's talk more about this. We didn't really talk about the 3060's
Yeah,
power connector.
We need to talk about the 3060 again.
Yeah, now let's move on.
All right. So what we got next here is even NVIDIA graphics cards could benefit from AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution, which is a pretty interesting thing to think about. And well, before I get to my thoughts about it, let's read a bit from this article here. This is PCGamer.com. And there's some rumors out that this will be available in June for AMD GPU card holders. This is something we've been talking about for a while, or at least been expecting for some time. So, yeah. What is it exactly? So, if you're not familiar with it, NVIDIA has their own version, which is called DLSS. And essentially what it does is it takes a lower resolution of a frame and just upscales it with AI to give you a lower hit on your GPU so that you can have higher frame rates with it looking more or less the same to the human eye. And I've seen a few people do this on YouTube where they have tests and they do basically a blind test, an A/B test. They have the actual produced image, 4K or whatever it is, versus the DLSS 4K. And in most instances, they couldn't tell while gaming. If they look very closely, you could see artifacts here and there on occasion, but generally it worked really well. And I'm definitely one of those people where frame rate goes over the top of fidelity every single time. So I'm looking forward to seeing this in AMD's own hardware. But it is interesting to think that NVIDIA will be able to take advantage of this too. And it kind of mirrors the way that FreeSync works, right?
Yep.
You can have monitors like my monitor is G-Sync certified, but it's not a G-Sync monitor. So basically it's a FreeSync monitor that will work with an NVIDIA graphics card. But it's not. It doesn't go both ways, right? If you have a G-Sync monitor, you can't use an AMD card with it. So
probably not. Knowing Big Greenie.
Yeah. So it seems like another thing going in that direction where this is great. It could be great. We'll see how it goes, but it could be great for everybody. No matter which video card you have, it could work in such a way that I wouldn't imagine it work in conjunction with DLSS if you have an NVIDIA card. But maybe it could work better in certain games versus DLSS. If you have, say, a 3080, it could work better in a particular title. So it just gives you more options. So it's one of those reasons where, like, if I'm looking for a graphics card, there's many reasons why I might still go for an NVIDIA graphics card over AMD. Not the fact that maybe they might be outperforming AMD in certain places, not all places, but it's just one of those things that adds to the pile where I'm thinking like, probably better just to go NVIDIA if I can find a card that is.
Yeah. I think we mentioned this before, talking about FreeSync or something, maybe this FSR. Yes, it's kind of, from a business standpoint, it's kind of weird for AMD to create these things and just make them open, like FreeSync, like, Vulkan, which is, started as AMD's Mantle and is now like, it's an open, it's like a replacement for OpenGL, I believe. Now they've got this FSR, which is, part of a bunch of different, to quote PC Gamer here, hardware agnostic GPU open library of effects. So yeah, from a business standpoint, it's kind of weird that they're spending all this money on all this technology and just letting their competitors take advantage of it. But from, our point of view, it's pretty, they look like the good guys. It's definitely, like, I don't know why anybody would buy a G-Sync monitor when you can just buy a FreeSync monitor and you don't have your future video card choices made for you already. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can just go either way.
It was a huge factor for me buying a monitor.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It is very cool. I think I thought I read that FSR needs to be implemented in a game for it to work. I may be wrong on that. I thought that's what I read. But I mean, I think a lot of at least console games are probably going to be taking advantage of it if they can run this on PS5 or Xbox.
Yep.
So,
well, yeah,
you know,
you are right. What you mentioned that it needs to be implemented into the software. It's not something you just run on anything. And that's because the reason why we're hearing about this is because there's leaks coming from developers who are getting access to this and trying this out on games that they're developing for.
Yep. Sorry, I spaced out for a second.
It's okay. I do that too.
Yeah, so I didn't actually hear what you said. Was yep an appropriate answer?
Well, here's that thing you said, and this is validating the thing you said. What? That's good. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm looking forward to FSR. I'm not going to be able to use it as far as I know. I don't know if this is going to be working for older NVIDIA cards. I still haven't had a chance to buy a new graphics card yet. Not that I really, really need it, but I would like one. But yeah, I think this is something that's going to really help the future of gaming when it comes to high resolution gaming, especially being able to just, we're going to look back at the days when we had to brute force the pixels and be like, that was ridiculous. Look at all this energy we're wasting. Like, this is the beginning of something where we can take very, very small devices that are very, very efficient in producing something very amazing. And I'm really excited, especially for things like virtual reality, where you get a really, really high density pixel screen into a small headset and be able to power it with a tiny chip. That's going to be a game changer. I'm really looking forward to that. So this is, I think, at least one of the pieces of the puzzle to make that happen.
Yep.
I'm just glad that it's not going to be exclusive to NVIDIA hardware anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as an AMD card owner, I am definitely looking forward to this. Especially when it comes to ray tracing, I definitely have to make some concessions when I want to do something in ray tracing, which is not very often. I played some Minecraft, some Cyberpunk, but I definitely had to turn down, resolution or whatever to get it to kind of where I wanted it to be. So, supposed June release, I am very ready.
I'm not ready.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to it when I finally have a card. You know what? That's the one thing like I'm missing out on. I love Minecraft. I just want to play it with ray tracing, just for some fun, just for a little while. It was nice to see other people play with it, but I want to turn. Okay.
It was, it's definitely very cool. But for me, I think I turned down the resolution to 1080 or something to get like some kind of like okay frame rate. I don't even know if I was touching 60. I can't remember, but I remember the low frame rate feeling that I get. Now that I'm always looking at 144 hertz, like seeing something at 60 now seems like, when I used to see something at like 30 or less.
Oh, yeah. It's painful. Even so, for example, like I'll go to the living room sometimes if, say, I'm playing a game with my girlfriend or something, like a co-op game. Bring my desktop over there, plug it in, and the TV's 60 hertz, which is fine. But like, even just moving the mouse around, you're like, what is this? This is gross. It looks all stuttery and stuff. And you remember the days when that was like the smooth way to go was 60 frames per second. It's weird.
Yeah,
our
the
brains
mouse
are just reset.
The mouse test is an interesting one. I have my second monitor. I have it set to 60 just because it's not. There's no reason for me to have it super high.
Yeah.
because it's usually just Discord or a browser or something over there. But yeah, I definitely do move the mouse cursor back and forth between the two monitors. You can see like when you shake it around on the low frame rate one, you can see like 5 different like mouse cursors, and then when you shake it around on your higher resolution one,
Yeah.
you can see like 3 times as many.
Oh,
You know
big
what
time.
I mean? When you like shake it back and forth.
I've noticed this thing with my monitor, the Asus Tough Gaming one, whatever it's called. It's behind me here. If you're watching on the YouTube thing, and if I have this up on video, you'll see it. Anyways, it has this issue of like black smearing or dark smearing. I don't know what you want to call it. And I've noticed it when the resolution, or it's not the resolution, but the frame rates get lower. So I first noticed when I first got the monitor and I was playing No Man's Sky, and in certain situations, the frame rates would dip to like, a 60 around there. And there'd be like this dark smearing. And the other day I turned down the frame rate, just the hertz that I was running at, to 144 instead of it overclocked at 170. And even watching videos on YouTube, it was doing it in certain situations. I was noticing. Yeah, it's a weird flaw. For
I actually have that on my monitor too. I don't know if there's a solution or not. It doesn't bother me too much. If I'm playing like a rainy race or something in F1, I can definitely see the black tires of the cars in front of me. You can definitely see them smearing.
Yeah.
But, all in all, it's not that bad. I used to play Nintendo on a 12-inch black and white screen. So, I'm doing pretty well.
We just have to look backwards. It's up to the posterity. You can see how things have changed and how much better it's gotten. Yeah. We're living in good times here. Except for the housing market here in Canada. It's ridiculous. It's just outrageous. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the next subject. We got Epic. We talked about, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago about their app store. But today we're going to be talking about their $1 billion that they spent on exclusives. Gosh, that's a lot of money. How do you spend that much on exclusive? This is again from PCGamer.com. And yeah, that's
this money literally comes from the pockets of children.
I suppose in some cases, yeah.
Or their parents. That's all those V-Bucks. Like, how else are they getting $1 billion?
Honestly, they've got a few hit titles, and yes, that is the way they do it. Now they also have Rocket League, which you can play for free through the Epic Store. And it used to, so I talk about Rocket League all the time. If you haven't watched the show before, I play Rocket League all the time. And it used to be you buy a Rocket Pass or whatever, and then you get a bunch of cool loot as you play. I never care about the cosmetic stuff. It doesn't matter to me. But you could buy keys to unlock chests, which I don't know if that's illegal in some places now. And it was usually like pretty cheap as far as I remember. But now you unlock blueprints, and you use those blueprints to get whatever, a new skin for your car, a hat, boosts, new wheels. And in some cases they cost over $30 just for the one cosmetic thing. And, they see the free to play and how that works with games like Fortnite, so I can imagine it's the same thing that's happening with Rocket League. I bet they're making more money than selling the game for $20 or whatever it was before.
Is it an Epic game?
Yeah, they own it. They bought Psyonix.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. That was like, I don't know, a year and a half ago maybe?
I remember when it came, I vaguely, I remember it going to the Epic Store and going free. I don't think I remember Epic buying them.
Yeah.
So yeah, $1 billion on exclusives. Like, so this doesn't really, to the average gamer, this is a huge annoyance. Well, I don't know. I can't say the average gamer. To me, it's a huge annoyance. I think there are probably many people out there who feel the same. When a game you want to play is, exclusively on one platform, say you want to play Spider-Man, but you have an Xbox, you can't, right? Because maybe that's a bad example. I think maybe they developed that themselves.
Metal Gear Solid, Gran Turismo.
But those are those are made by Sony.
Okay, I get
like
you.
Sony
Okay, you're not
Studios.
saying like exclusive titles as in
Yeah,
they've
like
made them, but- okay.
made. Let's just say, Grand Theft Auto 6 or something is only coming to PlayStation because Sony paid them a bunch of money for a 1-year exclusivity deal, and there's no reason other than that deal that they couldn't launch on Xbox. Just to simplify it, talk about consoles. So Epic is doing a lot of that. So to the average gamer, it's annoying. Sorry, I keep saying average gamer. To me, it's annoying. You may or may not agree with me. When there's a game that I want to play and I just want to buy it on the store that I use, I turn on my computer, I open up Steam, I look for a game to play. But quite often there are games, the WRC series is always, I guess the last couple have been, at least on PC, Epic exclusive for a year. So I just bought WRC 8 on Steam, but it came out like a year ago. WRC 9 is just released and it's on Epic. Am I going around in circles?
No,
It's just super annoying for the consumer. And it's, Epic does it for one reason, to get people onto their platform. But,
yeah,
for me, it's just crazy annoying. On the other side of it, though, there are certain developers or publishers, I'm not talking about the big ones. I'm talking about like the smaller studios that can potentially benefit by getting a payout from Epic. Coffee Stain Studios, the makers of Satisfactory and Goat Simulator, they're really satisfactory on Epic exclusively in the beginning. Although I don't know if they were paid off, but their game was certainly made in Unreal Engine, so I think they also get benefits for releasing in the Epic Store. Anyway, I think I don't know what I'm talking about, but pretty much I'm just super annoyed that when I want to buy a game, I can't buy it where I want to buy it.
Yeah, it makes it difficult. This can be seen also when it comes to other types of entertainment, especially when it comes to movies and TV shows, and the fracturing and bifurcation when it comes to streaming services happening over the past few years, especially as Netflix dominance decreases. We're seeing it much more difficult to watch the things you want to watch as they become spread out on these different platforms. Like there's like here we got Crave, or there's Hulu in the States, Amazon, like I said, Netflix, Disney. There's dozens and dozens of them, and it makes it difficult to find the things you want. So when the same thing happens in gaming, it's the same thing. It just makes it more difficult. Not necessarily that it's that hard, because not at this point do we have something like there's different Xbox Game Passes or something like that. Not yet. I can imagine that might happen in the near future. But just having all these different stores and having to manage that on your computer can be a pain in the butt. Origin, Epic, Steam, Microsoft, Xbox. Those are just to name some of them. I think those are probably the most popular ones. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt. And to know that Epic has spent over $1 billion to secure 105 different exclusive titles, it just seems like it's more and more leading in that direction. And it's a bummer. So I don't hope to see anytime soon some kind of huge title like GTA 6, for an example, turn up on, say, it'll come out on consoles, but if you want to play it on PC, it's only available on the Epic Game Store, something like that. I'm not looking forward to that kind of situation, but I wouldn't hold my breath to expect it not to happen.
Yeah. Like I bought this game Satisfactory, which I mentioned, which I love. I bought it on Epic because it was only on Epic originally. And like it's starting to become like really popular. And I just really wish I had it on Steam. I don't know why I have this problem. I don't know. I guess like the Epic game store launcher thing or whatever is it's not that great. You know, I don't have friends on there who I could potentially easily hop in with. I don't know. It's just it's this problem I have. I don't know.
Is this that cookie clicker type game?
No.
I don't know. Maybe that's something else you were talking about.
That was Core. That was
Okay. Oh yeah, Core.
That was a thing where
a
a lot of people were making cookie clicker games. By the way, I would probably not recommend that anymore.
No more Core?
No.
Core is off the recommendation list. It's gone, folks. It's gone.
It's very rapidly become like a mobile game sort of situation.
Uh-oh.
Where like this happened years ago with mobile games, where somebody comes up with an idea for a game and then everybody copies it, and then everybody tries to use these ridiculous tactics to make people like spend money in it or keep coming back or whatever. And it's totally rampant on Core right now, and I'm finding more garbage, you know, like cookie clickers or whatever on there than I am good games. So I mean, you can still check it out. It is free. But yeah, it's tough. Because seemingly it's weird that all this like crappy addictive kind of stuff is rising to the top. And like that's the stuff that you see. Like there's supposedly 20,000 games on this service, but you only see like the same like 20 to 30.
Well, that's just the nature of things in general. What do they call that? The Pareto distribution or something? Very few things will be seen the most by far.
Yeah, but I think the platform has a bit of a responsibility to mix it up a bit and say like, here's some new titles, or, you know, explore different creators. Instead, it's like every time you go into the hub world, it's like, these are the most popular games, and they will remain the most popular games because they're the ones that you can literally just walk into that are presented to you every time you load the game.
But at the same time, like they have an obligation to, not necessarily, I don't know if they have shareholders or whatever, but the people who are looking to make money off of this particular product, right? It's like going to YouTube, and YouTube does in a sense try to diversify by promoting lesser known YouTubers, but generally they're going to try to put in your face the things that are being seen a lot already, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But that's an algorithm that is telling you that it thinks it's good because a lot of people have seen it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have seen it because the algorithm has told them that they think it's good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like garbage.
I know what you mean. Yeah. If
garbage can still rise to the top.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying it is the best, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing, right? Like if they're already getting people to stick around for however long, or they get more people to stay around, then they're probably going to keep going that direction. But yeah, I think you're right that there's going to be a lot of gems hidden in there that aren't going to be seen because they're not switching it up. But at the same time, it's like, how do you know one gem is shinier than the other one? It's a long process.
Like manual curation. You can't just like rely on algorithms to tell you what's good, or like the number of clicks doesn't necessarily mean it's the best.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways.
If we ever sell merch, there's going to have to be a t-shirt on the back. It's going to say anyways. Many S's. Yeah, so hey, if you're on the YouTubes, why don't you let us know what you think about the whole Epic situation. Do you use Epic? Are you collecting their never-ending stream of free games that's available every single week? Let us know. But one thing we forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, where did it go? Oh, did you move it? No. Where'd it go? Did I put it somewhere else? I don't know. We had a comment from somebody on YouTube. You know what? I can just go to YouTube and find it, I'm sure, about GTA. Oh, this is
Okay.
great. Love it when you go to your YouTube and it's on a different account. Well, that's not good. Anyways, we'll get to this, but let's talk about some of the gaming news we have, which is zero. But we have some games we want to talk about. But first, I think we can start with you, Matt. And what's going on with your gaming situation?
Okay. I finally got my Fanatec CSL Elite F1 bundle, which is a force feedback steering wheel and pedals and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. It is very strong. I can't believe that people are buying things that are, 3-4 times the strength of this thing, because this is like, it can get uncomfortable at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been, going to bed with sore arms and sore legs from, playing video games a very different way to how I have been most of the time, which is like basically barely moving except for my thumbs and pointer fingers. But yeah, it's been really cool. I played some F1 2020 and I'm totally terrible.
Yeah.
It's like learning a whole new thing all over again. There's definitely a lot of tweaking that needs to happen. There's so many different settings about the force feedback, and there's also vibration motors in the steering wheel. And I've turned some up. I want to like feel the road or whatever. On the Xbox controller, I guess there's like 4 different vibration motors. There's like the ones in your hands and there's ones in the triggers. And I really come to rely on them. Playing F1 2020, in the trigger, you can really feel when your rear tires are starting to slip, or your tires are starting to slide or whatever. When you're turning and you're turning too hard, you can feel like the rubbing of your tires. And those things are not like explicitly set up in with this Fanatec wheel, so you have to set them up all yourself. And some of the setting choices I've made have been pretty awful. I was playing Assetto Corsa, or is it Assetto Corsa? I don't know. Whatever.
Assetto Corsa
AC, and
Yeah.
I had it set up so like when you drive over like painted lines on a highway, and it would like make a like you could feel it in the wheel. And these are just like painted lines. Like it was extremely violent. So yeah, I definitely need to spend some time tweaking that. I have an Next Level Racing wheel stand, it's called. You can look it up. I would definitely not recommend this thing for a Fanatec setup. They advertise it being compatible with Fanatec wheels and pedals. That is a dirty lie. It is as compatible with Fanatec wheels and pedals as any table is, and any floor. So basically, they don't have the proper holes drilled for the wheel or the pedals. They expect you to mount the wheel to like the crossbar or whatever, just using the normal table clamp mount, which is like, okay, I could also clamp it to a table. And the pedals, it doesn't have the holes drilled for the pedals either, so they just give you a little stop bar thing that's supposed to stop your pedals from moving forward when you step on them. Of course, the problem with that is that it doesn't stop them going the other way. So anytime you take your feet away, or if you want to fold up your stand or something, they'll just fall off, which is just so stupid.
Not ideal.
Not really ideal. So it's getting to the, like when I first had it, I set the pedals down, and, I have my feet on them so it's not sliding down, but I step on the brakes like hard, and like the whole thing just like rotates basically, because I have have them F1 style. So brake on the left, like extreme left, and gas on the extreme right. So what I ended up doing for now, because I'm probably going to sell this thing, I don't want to drill in it. I just took some like USB cables and cut them up and just sort of tied them into, like, put through holes in different slots and stuff like that to somewhat tie it down for now. I couldn't find any cable ties, but
That's some quality MacGyvering.
yeah, I mean, it's done the trick pretty much. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be getting a new wheel stand of some sort. I'm very much eyeing the SimLab GT1 Evo.
SimLab GT1 Evo.
Which is made of aluminum profile. So it means it's like very configurable, very modular.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I've seen this one a lot, and if I was going to buy one, this is probably something I would get. Seems like it's very versatile.
Yeah, and there are levels that is like an entry-level SimLab one, but SimLab is another company like Fanatec that makes a lot of really expensive stuff. Although there are more expensive ones than Fanatec, but this is sort of an entry-level one, but it's still like fairly pricey. But because of the, what it's made out of, you can modify it or strengthen it or expand it in the future, which is really cool.
Oh, that is neat.
Yeah.
So that's looks like a pretty basic setup. But I mean, if it's sturdy, that's all that matters. But I think just having the fact that you can nail down your pedals, that is such a huge deal. And also your wheel too. Like I only have, it's a Logitech G920, I think, whatever. Works for PC. And I just put the wheels on the floor, but they're pressed against the wall or the floorboard. So they don't move at all, which has been great for me because having pedals move totally ruins the experience. Like it's full stop. Your consistency, gone. Like you can't race even close to competitively. So having everything bolted down is pretty cool. So are you going to have to get a seat or do you have a seat?
Yeah, you have to buy a seat too. So
okay.
You just get a normal car seat or racing seat or whatever. But yeah, I think it's going to be worth it. I'm really into this stuff. I have a lot of fun doing it. It's kind of something I'd always wanted. I bought this Next Level Racing wheel stand maybe like 2013, 2014, something like that. And I had a G27 and I used it maybe once or twice or something, just because it's difficult to set up. Also, I have this weird desk where, I have monitor issues. Like the monitors are so ridiculously far away from where I'm sitting. So yeah, the idea was get this proper sim rig, put it over to the side of my desk. My second monitor is pretty darn good and it's just being used as an auxiliary monitor. So I'll probably move that and get something cheaper as a second monitor. Cause this other one, it's 1080, 144 Hertz. It's a good Asus gaming monitor. So I'll definitely move that. I'll move that over. Just, have a little sim racing thing in the corner. Looking forward to it. So I've been having a lot of fun with a set of AC. Having a lot of fun with that game. I was previously so down on this game. It just felt bad. Playing with a controller, it's like really wonky. It's one of those games that you really need to spend time setting up. Yeah. I could never, for years, get it right, feeling right on the controller.
But isn't it fantastic?
Super twitchy. But yeah, with a proper
so
wheel,
good.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
I've been playing that what is it? Shitoku.
Oh, that mod, yeah.
Revival project. You got to install that. It's so much fun.
I got to do that. I will.
Just cruising the highways around Tokyo.
Yeah.
You go onto servers and you're just like, last night I was just like cruising with like a bunch of cars. It's just, I don't know, it's so cool.
Do you drive in first person, like cockpit view?
In that one, yeah.
Yeah. It's great. Like, I think I've been mentioning it more in the pre-show. We've been talking a bit more about sim racing and stuff like that in the pre-show and talking about Assetto Corsa. But man, it is just so fun. The customization you have there is just, it's like, it's never ending. Like last week I installed all the Tesla cars that I could find. There was the Model 3, there was Model S, there was the old Roadster. There was also one that I've been enjoying it's like a Model S, but it's like a GT car. So it's got a lot more torque off the get-go. And just going to, like, I think I mentioned this to you yesterday, but like the old Monza track from the 60s. And it's the Monza track. If you don't know, it's a pretty famous track in Italy. But it used to have where the track would go in this loop and do this huge oval with banked turns. And it's crazy fast. Like if you're driving the Tesla, you're going like 320 plus kilometers per hour, like crazy fast around this track. So what I would do is just put in a bunch of cars. I'd just go through the car list in Assetto Corsa and just add add GT car, add this Lamborghini, add the Ferrari, add an F1 car, and add all these fast cars, whatever their grid, I think it's like 25 cars max, and just go and see what happens. And it's just, it's a blast. It's so fun. Oh, also, yeah. Destroying cars with an F1 car is a lot of fun in that game. Even F1 cars. If you hit the back of another car with an F1 car in that game, the car goes flying. It's like the ramp car from GTA or wherever that was. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually joined, some people were doing practice around Catalunya circuit in Spain, which is the F1 race going on, or that happened this weekend. So I joined the server and, I was in the good old number 9, the Nikita Mazepin Haas car, which is, if you don't know, the worst driver in the worst car in F1 right now. And he's
double whammy.
He's just a joke. He's holding it. He's literally holding everybody up. In Portugal, he finished 4 minutes behind the winner. Oh. Like this is a sport where they're literally like chasing tenths of a second, and this guy, like they were already on the podium. Like when the leader finishes, like that's everybody's last lap. But had he continued, like they would have been having the podium celebration when he actually finished the race.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
it's pretty bad. Yeah. I don't want to talk too much about the F1 stuff because we're gonna end up starting a whole new podcast within this podcast about Formula One. But it's been, anyways, this whole racing thing's been a lot of fun. And I think because of you has led me to actually buy the wheel in the first place. Because I had bought one from Best Buy maybe 2 years ago. And I think I might have mentioned this before. It was a Thrustmaster, and I ended up returning it because I just felt kind of silly. I was like, this is silly. This is just a stupid toy. Why am I doing this? I returned it. But now I feel a bit more validated. Other people are into this too. And it's just a hobby, and it's fun. And it's been really, really good. I had a race this weekend, so I'm part of this like casual league, and we race every F1 race weekend. We try to race the track that they're actually racing, but as is COVID, it's totally ruined the actual F1 seasons. So the tracks that they're actually racing might not exist in the game. So anyways, this weekend was the second one where we actually got to race the same track as they raced in real life, which is, like you said, in Spain. And it was so fun. It was so fun. I qualified pretty decent. I did practice this past week. I was maybe half a second close to my best time that I was able to do in time trial, so I was pretty happy with that. Started in like 8th place. Totally screwed it up in the first corner. Was in dead last. But you know what? I was like, other people in this league, sometimes they crash in the first corner. They get all mad and they quit. Like just whatever, stupid, whatever. They're yelling about it and they go do whatever they do. They go to bed. I don't know. But I was like, no, whatever. I'm just going to put my head down, see what I can do with this. So I'm doing okay. I made up a couple places about halfway through the race, I think. And then by the graces of God, I got to take a pit stop. My pit stop's ready to go. Put me on some new fresh mediums. Safety car comes out. I was like, oh, baby, here we go. So at that point, I catch up to the pack Safety car's there, and I'm in 10th place. And honest to gosh, raced my butt off, and I was able to get 5th place, my best ever finish, not without having another player during the safety car smash me in the back and just get a 5-second penalty because he hit me. You know, as is that game sometimes gives you weird penalties, but I still made it into 5th place, and I was very, very excited about that. I was just wanted to share that here with you. It's very so cool. Rewarding, even though it's just imaginary computer racing. It's such a fun hobby.
Yeah, you know, you really need to find the fun. A lot of people take it so seriously and they just get so mad and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. You know, I haven't done too many online races, but you know, I did one like a little while ago. I was in 3rd place and last lap, and the guy behind me decided he didn't want me to finish the race, so he smashed into me. It's just so annoying. Like, why would you do that? Why don't you just like take your 4th place and try to do better next time?
Was it like a curated one, or was it just like online random match?
Like an online random match.
Yeah.
Like I haven't played. You have to go through, like, to be able to play online proper in F1 2020, you have to go through like a bunch of, I guess they're like placement matches or whatever.
Right.
So I'm still in that. I haven't been properly placed. So
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that's the problem I have, like, with that game. Like, there's nobody actually watching over the game. And I don't want to get too involved where it's like I feel obligated to practice or anything like that. That's what I get worried about. Like, I have a problem with getting too addicted to certain things, and I go way too hard, and then I get burnt out really fast. So I'm trying to take it easy with this because I'm really enjoying it, and I want to pace myself. But the problem with that, I feel like with these online racing games and a lot of games in general online, but specifically I'm thinking about F1 2020. Like, for example, I got that 5-second penalty where I got smacked in the back for, no fault of my own. Like, there's nothing I can do about that.
You got the penalty.
I think we both did, probably.
So ridiculous.
But just the game, whatever, the game decides that. It thinks that you made a collision, whatever. But there's no way to rectify that if you're playing online randomly with people, even in, I don't think so, like in a league through the game. But like, for example, in this, it's a relatively casual league of mixed skills. And we have a stewards panel where if you're recording your game, you can submit it afterwards. If I had submitted it, I didn't because the 5 seconds didn't make a difference. With that penalty, I think I was like 1/10 above the person behind me. So I was like, I still got 5th place, so it doesn't matter. But then they would review it and give a penalty if they needed to, or take away a penalty that didn't belong there, or whatever. But I don't know where I'm going with this. It's fun. Just try out some sim racing. Even if you're playing with a controller, a game like F1 2020 is really great. A lot of the dirt games are a lot of fun. I was having a lot of fun with Dirt Rally 2.0 until it got really, really difficult. And I got out of there because like I'm gonna have to spend way too much time learning how to drive these like turbo-legged cars to do anything decent. But I'll probably get back to it at some point. But I am jealous of your Fanatec situation, and I think I mentioned this before. I'm gonna wait at least probably a year to upgrade.
Yeah. Wait for that new. What's it called again? The DD 0.5 or whatever.
CLS
that was the April
DD?
Fool's name.
Yeah.
CSL DD.
CSL. Yeah. Direct drive. Yeah, it looks good.
I may get one of those one day. I don't want a wheel that can break my arm. Like those fancy direct drive ones, like not the one we just mentioned, CSL DD, which is a weaker one. Those other ones, literally, you have to literally have an emergency stop button somewhere nearby, so you can stop it if the wheel, like, your fingers
breaks your arm off,
and it's is about to break your arm off. Like I don't need a gaming accessory that does that.
Yeah,
and I think my wheel does like 6 Newton meters or whatever. It's like that's enough. Like, it's pretty. I can still overpower it, but that's what I want. You don't want like, why would you don't want your wheel to be stronger than you, like literally breaking your arm. That's why does that exist?
And I think it, like I had mentioned before, Maybe I mentioned to you privately, but I think it has to do with the fact that if you're looking for something that's going to be authentic, if you want that authentic experience, and say you're an actual racing driver and you're driving some cars that are actually vintage cars or something like that doesn't have power steering, you might want to have that experience and be able to practice that. Like practicing taking your hands off the wheel when you actually get in an accident, stuff like that, right?
Guess
I don't
so.
know. That's an idea, but yeah, I'm probably in the same line as you. Like, I'm very happy if maybe down the line I end up getting one of these DD wheels that has, I think it's 5 to 8 Newton meters. Plenty. I'm sure it's just plenty. I think the one I have is like 2.5 right now. And even then it feels like plenty for most part. It's just not responsive enough, and it feels clunky because it's like gears. You can literally feel the gears in there, but whatever. It's a toy at the end of the day.
So mine has like an F1 style yoke on it.
Yeah.
I think I guess it's possible that, when I get a bigger wheel for it, I would want more force. Just because, currently I'm trying to rotate something from, closer to the center, but in a bigger wheel, I don't know. It's kind of like bike gears or whatever, where the bigger wheel can move things more easily than the smaller gear.
Science.
Something like that.
Physics.
But still, I mean, this wheel is pretty darn good. I also played some Gran Turismo Sport on PS4, which is also very good.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to us doing some racing head to head on a more level playing field, perhaps.
Like what?
Just as you progress and try to get used to the wheel, maybe I'll have a chance at beating you.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to need a better setup like sooner rather than later, because this is, like I don't think I broke it, but I definitely, like, I have an office chair with like, adjustable like a bazillion ways, and it can also recline. But the force, when I was braking one time, the force of my back on the back of the chair caused it to fully recline.
Oh, wow.
Like, I just heard this snap and it reclined. I guess I don't know how it's held in. Oops.
Yeah.
My mic. Yeah, but that was kind of like, it was kind of scary for a sec. But this is definitely not, I definitely don't have a long-term setup at the moment.
No. Oh, neither do I. I mean, I just put my wheel on my desk and then I use an IKEA kitchen chair to sit on. It's not ideal, and I get serious swamp butt in the process. It's very, very problematic. I have to take my pants off usually. It's not very pretty, and I'm sure anybody walking in on me would enjoy the sight. But anyways, Game Pass is something I want to talk a little bit about. I've been playing some Age of Empires recently online with a friend of mine, and it's been just so fun. Just getting back to that game it's still so good. It's so good. Mostly playing Age of Empires 2. I've never played Age of Empires 3 before recently, and I gotta say, it's too busy. It just seems too busy. There's too much stuff going on. There's you gotta have manage a deck of cards and stuff, and the progression trees for the different nationalities are so different that it's like you got to learn each one of them, which is fine if you want to get deep into the game. I think it's pretty cool, and I'm sure there's lots of people who enjoy it. But for me, who's a casual RTS player, it's just too much going on.
Huh. Yeah, I never played 3. I played a lot of 2. You might, I don't know if Age of Mythology is on there, but if you like Age of Empires 2, Age of Mythology is fairly close.
Yeah, I do own that one. I've played it a few times. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. I prefer still Age of Empires 2.
Yeah, same. So my friends and I, this was like before the days of, like voice over internet protocol and like game chat and all that. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe we just didn't maybe it wasn't that common. But we all had Age of Empires 2, and we basically, we all made like a common directory sort of, And so we all had a common copy of the game. And the reason for that is because you could add sound effects to the game. They would be like taunts or whatever. Like you can add your own wave files into the game. So when somebody presses a certain key, I think they were called taunts. This was a thing back before you could like talk to somebody over the computer. But you press a button and it would play the sound for your friend. But, you'd have to set it up so everybody had access to the same bunch of sounds. So we just all had like a bunch of like crazy, silly, like quotes from movies and stuff. And also this Leonard Nimoy song about Bilbo Baggins, which is like forever tied to Age of Empires 2 for me. Just look it up. Leonard Nimoy, Bilbo Baggins, I think it's called, or either that or The Hobbit or something like that.
Wow.
It's a weird song.
Okay, well,
I'm
looking here on the Age of Empires wiki, and there's an actual entry called Taunts, and it has sound clips from all of them, all from 1 to 25. Yeah, and one of my favorite, here we go. Somebody passed the wood, and I want to know what this one sounds like. High-pitched laugh. That's creepy. Anyways.
Yeah, so you could put your own custom, you could overwrite those and put your own custom things.
Interesting. That's fun.
Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah.
So like we used to spend like so much time playing that game maybe we were playing over local area network, or maybe I can't remember. Maybe it was over the internet. We definitely did have some LAN games, but yeah, we spent like most of that game just listening to that Leonard Nimoy, Bilbo Baggins song over and over again. Leonard Nimoy is Spock from the original Star Trek, in case you don't know. Yeah, he did some weird like singing stuff in the 60s, I guess. Yeah, just check it out.
I do know who Leonard Nimoy is, and I remember hearing stories about him going to like art things, and he had, he started doing art stuff with like photography and stuff, and apparently he was very standoffish about talking about Star Trek, which I can imagine. I mean,
yeah, well, I mean, probably everywhere he goes, people will be like Spock, 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 like his whole life. Like I'm not. I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's like what's his name? Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon. He like refused to talk about the moon ever.
Really?
Yeah, because it was literally like it's all anybody would ever talk to him about.
Interesting. Yeah, I can imagine. I don't know if I'd want to be put in that position. Huh. Anyways, we'll finish off here. We got a comment from Alio. This is sent to us on YouTube. You guys can leave us comments or messages or whatever you like, and we'll probably respond to them as long as they're not just straight up harassing us, which happens from time to time. And I get a chuckle. So, I mean, if you want to make me laugh, you can give that a shot. But anyways, this is from Alio. This is talking about GTA 5/6 and GTA Online and its effect on GTA's development. So we talked about this last week, and he mentions there's absolutely no chance that GTA Online is affecting GTA 6 development cycle. Take-Two is in the business of making money, not delaying themselves from making money. Rockstar will release the game when it's ready, period. Now, I do agree with that. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Agree with that on point. However, I do believe that GTA Online will definitely affect the way that it is developed, maybe not necessarily the cycle itself.
Yeah, well, the thing, like once GTA 6 comes out, nobody's going to be spending any money on the already developed GTA Online, right?
Yeah. Well, there'll probably still be people doing that, but not as much.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it is a free game pretty much now. I don't know if it's still free, but it was free for a time on the good old Epic Games and Apps Store. They still have 5 apps available. Don't forget about those. Still just 5 apps.
It's still 5.
Yeah, well, we're not this. I mean, that whole thing from a Reddit post was pretty much a meme last time.
Yeah, it was literally was a meme. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I do think that it can affect the way that it will be developed in the future, and to think that GTA 6 from the beginning will be built around its online. And I think that's definitely going to be the case, considering how much bank they're making with GTA Online right now. So, yeah, if people stop playing the online version, I think it will affect the way that they do produce the next generation of online, or how they implement shark cards, or how updates will come out. And I don't think it's going to change, because I think people are still, paying into this whole system when they release an expansion that's only for online. They've totally thrown away their single player campaign expansion stuff. I think that's going to continue. But Elio goes on to say, no offense, but 250 hours are rookie numbers. You haven't even progressed far enough to start making serious cash. Da 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 da. I play maybe 1 to 2 hours every couple days and literally own everything online. You also have Twitch Prime giving you millions of dollars. There's no reason to buy shark cards, but it's option for people who value their time more than others. And that's just it. I think the point is people who don't have the time, or the time, I guess, or the motivation to actually go through the hoops it takes to make big money in that game. It's all there, right? Because like, if you're saying 250 hours isn't a lot of time in the game, and it is enough time, it's not a ton of time. I've got, just on my Steam account, my main Steam account, I have 1,500 hours in Rocket League, and that's over 5 years. So wow. To think, it's not that much. Yeah. Like, I know people who have 4,000 in one specific game that came out 5 years ago. Like, it isn't that much, but that's just it, right? Not a lot of people want to or are willing to spend that much time just to get some kind of vehicle or skin or building in a virtual game. And I think the point still stands. Like, it's still really difficult to get these things.
We never said that it's impossible to get everything in the game, but at least from our perspective, for me, 250 hours is, or whatever it was, is the most I've spent in a game on Steam, period. So, it's not, I've definitely spent more time.
You should check your F1 time.
219 hours.
Ooh, get close.
Grand Theft Auto 285. But yeah, for me, that's a lot of time. I have other stuff going on. There were certainly games where I spent a lot more time. They're not on Steam though. World of Warcraft definitely spent like months probably of my life spent in that game doing God knows what. But yeah, it was just, we were just talking about like, it's for the amount of time we put into this game, we don't feel like we get out enough.
Yeah. I think that's just it. And that was the problem with Star Wars when it first came out, and they calculated you had to spend like thousands of hours to get like all the cosmetic things, which you could buy for many hundreds of dollars or whatever the calculations were. That's the position people are being put in when they want to play some games and just have some fun. And it takes away that magic that we used to have. And this is maybe just the rose-colored glasses I'm looking through right now. But when you look at older consoles, when it came to cheat codes and things like that, where you could unlock different things that weren't in the game at all, or unlock the things that were in the game without jumping through the hoops of playing the game, which is, defeats the purpose in some cases, but other cases, no. Like if you're playing a racing game, like they used to do in the old days, you had to play the game to unlock the cars to drive them. It's not that way anymore. Yeah. Now to unlock new cars, you're getting expansion packs after the fact, and you can drive any car whenever you want. But it used to be in some games, you had to play the game to unlock the cars, or you had a cheat code, and that doesn't exist anymore. And I think it takes away from it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. DLC has definitely taken place of the cheat code.
Yeah, DLC, loot boxes, or in this case, GTA 5 online with their shark cards and not unobtainable. Like, you're right. This commenter, Elio, you're right. You can do it, but it can take a lot of time. So
yeah, like 2 hours a day or whatever. That's your main game, right?
Yeah.
Like it would have to be
insane.
Of course, it would need to be here.
It adds up, yeah.
I have pretty much everything unlocked in F1 2020, I guess, but maybe that's not true. But
Well, it's all cosmetic.
It's definitely my main game.
Yeah.
I just, I think what we talked about last time is like it can be pretty crushing in that game to be like trying to progress in the game, and your time is just getting ruined by, some guy named Alio on an Oppressor Mark II just ruining your day.
Yeah.
Did you say his name was Alio?
Alio, Alio, A-L-I-O, I think.
Anyway.
I had to go while you were talking about your wheel. I had to go over behind me. I don't know. And because I couldn't log in on this computer for whatever reason. So I had to like go over and copy it over on that computer, then roll myself back to the laptop.
Yeah. Well, we're you found your game, and it's a great thing when you find a game that you really like. You put the time in, you get out of it what you want. It's a good feeling. But everybody has a different amount of time to put into a game. And, we just, we didn't feel that the price of the shark cards is too high. I don't know. Show that meme of the guy with the rents are too high. Like the shark cards are super expensive for what you can get in the game. Like if you just want to get that yacht or whatever, which apparently does nothing. Like how much would you have to spend? It's like $7 million. Like what is that? That's like you probably have to spend like a whole other AAA games worth of shark cards. I could be way off on that, but that's kind of my feeling. Like I think it's like
it's probably close.
20-ish bucks for like $1 million or something like that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you can get money from Twitch Prime, but it doesn't. It's still not. Anyway, whatever.
It says here.
Done. Give me GTA 6.
GTA Wiki, $99 for 8 million USD.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So that's not worth it to buy a yacht that does nothing. It's like you can go to it and you can sit in a hot tub with your friends. You can fly there and sip champagne in a helicopter. But like, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. It is still like, we're only, at least I won't speak for you, but I'm only like angry because like, I'd really love to do all those other things in the game that I just don't have the time and don't want to spend that much money on for like a virtual boat, like $100 or God knows how many hours.
Yeah, and at the end of the
frustrating gameplay.
It is frustrating, and at the end of the day, it's their prerogative and it's their decisions, and they can do that if they want to. Mm-hmm. But it's also ours to not pursue that and not play the games in the future. But I don't think that's really going to happen. It's clear that they're milking their cash cow, which honestly, they've made a great series and they deserve it. But don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
Well, I really hope I hope he's right when he said that it will be released when it's ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want another Cyberpunk, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't do it early for sure.
Yeah. I mean, GTA 5, I don't really remember too many glitches or anything. I just remember, at least with the campaign, like the game was pretty flawless.
Yeah. For the most part, I think there's like, standard stuff like things not loading in properly in a cutscene and like random stuff like that. Nothing catastrophic, I don't think. Not that I can remember. But again, rose-colored glasses, right?
What?
So thank you for rose-colored glasses.
What's how does that relate to this?
Well, we're just looking back at how the game was back then and just remembering the good parts. Not really remembering if there was crap. Maybe.
I guess so. I mean, if in terms of the actual single player game itself, I did play through that again, like about a year or two ago, and it was just chef's kiss. Mwah. Like it's so good.
I still haven't finished it. I don't know.
Really? Oh man!
I pick it up every few months and I play like a mission or two. And then I forget about it again. I'm probably like 60% in, but yeah. I did a mission. It's funny because it's been around for so long. And I'll go into a mission and be like, wow, it's like, it feels fresh and new to me because it is. And I haven't done it before. So I've been milking GTA 5 and maybe I'll finally finish it. Anyways, thank you for the comments, Alio. Really appreciate it. And if you disagree, let us know more because, hey, I don't know. I'm just a guy. I'm nobody special. But I think we're going to leave the show there. We're going to hit into the after show for a bit. And there's one particular topic I'm going to talk about related to Chia Coin. But nothing too crazy. But if you want to join us on the after show, you can go to the Tech Illiterate Patreon and join us for as little as $2. Well, I think I'm going to turn down the numbers on that. I just think it'd be better. But anyways, check it out there. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, if you can leave us a like, that'd be awesome. Subscribe if you want to subscribe, or leave us a review on Apple or wherever else you listen to this podcast. Anyways, this has been Tech Illiterate. Thank you for listening. No, wait.
Watching?
No, I did a video last week, so I'm thinking about Tech Illiterate. This has been Off and Out again.
Right.
We'll see you next time.